Hey guys, so it is so hot in here. The cooling system in my house is not working and it's summer, so it's hot in here. So my shoulders are on display today. If you're like my school and you don't approve of that and it offends you, then I'm sorry, but they're just here. Deal with it. What is up, everybody? Yeah, I'm not doing food intros anymore. Those were a terrible idea. I've only been on YouTube for 2 months and I already know that. Today I'm going to be explaining my personal outlining process. I actually have a pretty extensive process that I've used to outline many a book, and now I'm going to be showing it to you with an actual example of a book that I'm writing soon. Now everybody uses something different to outline. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but if you watch this video and you see something that I'm doing and you're like, oh yeah, that's really cool, I never thought of that, or I should try that, then feel free. That's what this video is for, is just giving you some new ideas for maybe how you can outline in the future. In all honesty, I know that my process isn't super unique. I've seen many YouTube videos where people explain similar processes to this, but I'm going to actually be doing an outline in front of you guys, like a real outline. Now this is completely real. This is a real book that I am planning to write within the next few months that I need an outline for. So I'm going to be making the outline on camera and kind of explaining what I'm doing while I'm doing it. A few disclaimers. First of all, do not follow this process to a T, obviously. Find what works for you. If you need to take some steps from my video, then cool. Do that. That's something. Second of all, you should take more time writing your outline than I'm taking writing mine. I'm going to be taking only 3 to 4 hours to do it, but usually outlining for me takes several days, if not more. The reason this one isn't going to take me very long is that I've been thinking about this book for years. I already have the first 2 chapters written out, and this is just kind of something to solidify it for me because I like a solid structure before I start writing the full book. If you need to take a full year to do it, then do that. Take as long as you need. I just already have a lot of this planned out, so it's not going to be that hard for me. Hey guys, what is up? We are making an outline today on this giant poster board. I got my crazy socks, we're ready to go. Got my Postit Notes, scissors, pen, what else? Oh yeah, we got this makeshift desk, just a coffee table, because my real desk is full of junk and I don't feel like cleaning it off. So yeah, here we go. Step 1, plots and characters. During this part, you need to make sure that you have a fair amount of plot and a fair amount of characters. You don't need all of this, of course, as a lot of it will come later when you're actually outlining. For example, if you have a plot hole or a whole bunch of empty space in your story when outlining, you're going to need to add more plot. And if you have a role that none of your characters are able to fill, you're going to need to add a new character. Before you start outlining, you should probably have your main character, about 4 supporting characters, and a general endpoint that you want to get to. For me, I already have a PowerPoint with my main 6 characters on it, my little babies, and I also have kind of an epic space plot twist that I'm ready to build myself up to. So, let's go. Also, if you don't have an inciting incident, now is a great time to come up with one. My inciting incident is the main character's older brother falling ill. This is the largest part of the process in which I'm going to take all my ideas, put them on sticky notes, and slap them on a poster board. At this point, I am writing them in the order that I think they're eventually going to go, but this is always subject to change. I'm also running out of yellow Post-it notes, so I'm going to be cutting them in half. I also don't have red, I realized today, so my romantic subplot is going to be in purple instead of red, like it usually is. I'm a person who loves color coordination, so I use 5 different types of sticky notes in my outline. Let us talk about what they mean. Typically red stands for romance, but in this outline I used purple. My goal with these sticky notes is to track the romantic parts through the story. Now, a romantic moment does not have to mean an entire makeout session, it just has to mean something that happens between two characters that are either romantically involved or will one day be romantically involved. I once read a book on Wattpad that seemed like it was all action, then all of a sudden it switched to all romance, and then at the very end it switched back to all action, and honestly, I didn't enjoy it. Tracking your romantic moments throughout the book can make sure that they're evenly interspersed and don't jump in and interrupt the plot in any way. Orange stands for any action bits, as I want to make sure there's enough action in the book without it being overly packed with it. Also, I like to visually see the action kind of build in intensity as we get towards the climax. Now, yellow and green are kind of tricky, but let me try to explain. Green and yellow are basically the meat of the story. They're what you're going to have the most of in your outline. Green stands for backwards action, which is any point in your book where your character is reactive. They're despair, they're in agony, they're in a situation that's just snowballing so fast and they cannot figure out how to get out of it. Yellow action is any time when your character is working towards their goal and being proactive in the story. This is basically any moment that your character is actively working towards their goal and figuring out a way around the problem. And last but not least, my favorite of all, the blue Post-it notes. Blue Post-it notes stand for plot twists. Now, these do not have to be giant, mind-blowing plot twists that happen at the ending, though I do recommend doing one of those. This is basically any moment where your character feels like they're getting stuff done and then all of a sudden their bridge is burnt. Typically this happens after yellow action, when your character feels like they're getting on top of things again, and it'll send them back into green action where they have no clue what to do. Blue can be as simple as someone throws a gun on them when they're not expecting it, or it can be something as big as one of the characters was betraying them all along. Both of those are actual examples from my outline. Here I have a kind of romantic plot point. This is when two of my main characters have a very deep discussion about trust and reliance, which doesn't sound like something romantic, but they become romantically involved later, so I kind of want to track their budding relationship. So this one counts as purple. This one is yellow forward action, and it is when the characters meet this new guy who can help them out, and they're discussing a plan, which is definitely forwards action because they're being very proactive toward their goals. So, bam! Here's a blue one. It's a freaking plot twist when the guy they thought they could trust actually turns out to be really, really evil and calls the authorities on them. So, here we go. Plot twist! Bam! Here's an orange. This happens when the guy calls the authorities and they just run, and some of them get captured, which leads to obviously a lot of backtracking. This is a very action-packed part of the book because they're running and basically fighting for their lives. Bam! And here we have a green. This one is where they are now fugitives when they weren't before. So this is backwards action. They're just kind of being reactive to the plot. They don't really have a plan anymore. They're kind of floundering around. They don't know what to do without two of their friends. Bam! This is my mistakes pile, and it just keeps growing. Oh, that didn't take too long. Step 3. Arrange your Post-its. This is the step where you put a cohesive book together. I don't have to do much of this step because I basically already have it in my mind, but if you're still trying to figure some parts of it out, this is the time to do it. If you have two events that could be interchangeable, decide which is coming first in the timeline. If you have a giant patch of empty space in your novel, fill it. Not with filler, of course, because filler is the devil. Fill it with stuff that actually goes along with your novel. I think it's this part right here that I'm gonna rearrange because I don't think it's right. I don't like it the way it worked out. I like that better. I like that series of events much better. I'm also going to rearrange this final part. I don't really like how it goes. I think more is needed, so let me think about that for a minute. Got it. I have to add another part to it, so that's great. I'm going to move all of this back. Step 4. Work out plot holes. This is the point where you look through your outline and make sure that everything is decided. Let me be very clear here, your outline should not have anything in it that says to be decided or we'll figure out later or I'm not sure yet. Unless you're referring to a character's name, you need to figure that shit out. I've done that thing where you're like, oh my gosh, I'll just work it out when I'm writing. And please, please don't. Save yourself. If you can come up with a solution to a gaping plot hole when you're writing, then sure, I guess you'll be fine. But if you're human, you might want to figure it out now. For example, if there's a moment where your character has no way out of a situation, you might need to go back in your outline and add in maybe a character or an item that can help them out of the situation later. If you don't do that in the outlining phase, you're going to have a lot of editing to do, so just save yourself the trouble. So I have kind of an issue. My main character, Savvy, takes another character, Louisa, on the mission, and I don't quite know why. It doesn't make any sense. Louisa definitely needs to be there because she will save all their asses and later almost kill all their asses. So, I mean, she needs to be there, but I don't just want to throw her in. It'll be really suspicious because she hardly knows Savvy, and Savvy doesn't really trust her yet because Savvy has trust issues. So, I don't really know how I'm going to do that. Let me think on it. Freaking got it. Okay, she knows somebody where they're going that will let them stay there for the night and such. So Mr. Leon is not Ace's old friend, he's Louisa's old friend. It makes so much more sense now because Ace has multiple reasons for being there. I'll just give one of them to Louisa. It's all fine. Step 5. Scrap all unnecessary scenes. The outlining process is an excellent time to scrap all the scenes you don't need before you write them. If any part of your outline just says training scene, or classroom scene, or they hang out, you need to expand. If you can't come up with one important thing about that scene that contributes to the plot or subplots, give it the axe. If you can expand on it and make it a necessary part of the book, then definitely keep it. This step will simply save you the trouble of having to delete thousands of words later on because you've created filler. And trust me, I have had to do that, and it hurts. It hurts your soul. Step 6. Divide it into chapters. So I found these little red Post-it notes, and I'm going to make these the chapters. I'm gonna cut these in half as well, and kind of just divide my story into chapters. This is the most fun step in my opinion, and also the step that has the most ability to change later on in the writing process. At this point, doing this step only gives you a kind of ballpark for the number of chapters you're going to write, and also lets you think of really cool ways to end chapters. My personal favorite is to end them right after the blue Post-it notes to create giant cliffhangers. I try to make sure that my chapters have more than one color in it to make sure that the chapter isn't all good, all bad, all action, or all romance. Doing this can also ensure that as long as you stick with it, you'll have no stagnant chapters. If you write thousands of chapters like James Patterson, this really isn't a big deal, but if you write huge-ass chapters like J.K. Rowling, then it's a good time to work those chapters out. Okay, so my novel has 20 chapters. That's not definite or final, that's just kind of a ballpark, I suppose. I could change up these chapters later, but for now I feel like 20 fits it well. So something that I like to do is to go through and make sure that there's at least 2 different colors in every chapter. In this case, there is. That makes sure that this story is never one emotion through an entire chapter. It's not all downtime. It's not all, yay, we did it time. It's not all action. There's a variety in every chapter. And steps... Wait, that is 7. 7! Oh my gosh, I can't count. Transfer all of this to your computer. Here you can use pages and pages to expand upon the stuff you put in your outline, and you can take it wherever you go. Alright, so I've been working for a while now. I've typed all this puppy out, and I have about 5 full pages of an outline. Just so you know, I have cut all the scenes that are filler or kind of wishy-washy. Every moment that I have on here right now, I can picture in my head exactly what happens. I do not want anything that I have to decide about later, because I just don't think that that's a great way to do an outline. You may do that, but I am a strict outliner. This can change later, but if it changes, I'm also going to make it solid, so I always know what's coming. I'll probably expand on this later. Definitely will expand on this later, make it about 10 to 15 pages, but all of my creative energy's gone. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go make some pizza rolls and take a nap. And there you have it, my 7 steps for creating an outline. And please remember that none of this is set in stone. You can always change parts of your outline if they end up not working out. However, in my opinion, the outlining stage is the best place to make revisions, because otherwise you're going to have to do a lot of editing. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe down below to help me learn my numbers, because I obviously don't know them. Each subscription teaches me a new number. It's fantastic. In all seriousness, I love your support. Likes and comments are so amazing. Tune in next week. Just kidding, I'm so lazy. Tune in 2 weeks from now to witness me doing more stupid stuff in another episode of Teen Writer Struggles. It will be all about getting your novel out of your brain when you're trying to do real, important grown-up stuff, which is so hard. I gotta get this hair off the back of my neck. Until next time, may the gods of plot be ever on your side. You don't need all of this as cores. Reactiveness, proactiveness, romanticism at the end, and then boom, the end of the story. And steps... Step 7! I can't count! And there you have it, my 7 Here we go. Plot twist! Bam! Yeah.